Does it feel like every part of your life is divided? Every scenario, every environment, your church, your school, your work, your friends, left, right, conservative, liberal, religious, secular. It seems you always have to take a side. This is a conversation between a progressive Christian and a conservative atheist who happen to be great friends. Welcome to Living on Common Ground.
Do you think if we met today, we would still be friends?
I don't know, but we're friends now.
A mob is no less a mob because they're with you.
Man, so what? We won a few games. And y'all fools think that's something? Man, that ain't nothing, y'all. And you know what else? We ain't nothing either. Yeah, we came together in camp. Cool. But then we're right back here and the world tells us that they don't want us to be together. We fall apart like we ain't a damn bit of nothing, man.
All right. So today, what we're planning on talking about is actually, I was thinking about this. So I started writing a script for a video that I'm going to be shooting tomorrow. Actually, I shot it once and I hated it, so I'm going to shoot it again tomorrow, and then it's going to go up on my Substack account probably sometime, maybe a week from tomorrow.
Okay.
And one of the things I'm talking about in that is the entire premise of the video is that it's better to be, if we actually want to be able to make change in this world, we can't just keep saying what we're against. We have to start saying what we're for.
Sure.
Because for invites other people in, right? And so, as I was working on the script and everything for that, we were coming up on Martin Luther King Day, which was earlier this week. We're recording on Thursday of that week, and I was thinking to myself, we really probably, if I had enough foresight, should have recorded this 2 weeks ago so that it would be coming out today instead of next week. Because it's going to come out the week after the week of Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Oh, sure.
So,
yeah.
But anyway, so the reason I bring that up is because one of the things that I think is that so here's my theory, and this is what I want to talk about with you today.
Yep.
So first of all, the theory is that being for invites people in. Being against ultimately identifies who the enemies are.
Sure.
Okay? No problem yet, right? All right. So, as I was thinking about that, I thought Martin Luther King Jr. is a great example of inviting people in. And his speech, his I Have a Dream speech, is a perfect example of that. And so even though it's going to take time, I think it would be worthwhile listening to that if you're up for that.
Sure.
Okay, so let me cue it up and we'll take a listen.
Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities. Knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friend, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghanies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, and when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
I think that's a great example of being for something. And then when we talked about it while we weren't recording, but while you and I were talking about it in preparation, planning for topics for episodes, you had brought up Malcolm X and his speech. Did you say it was in response to that speech?
It was, yeah.
Okay, so the ballot or the bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I was going to listen to it, and instead I listened to a lecture that that you
It's
made?
much longer. We wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I think it's like almost an hour long.
Yeah, it's
right.
a very long talk.
So why don't we do this? Because here's the thing. Again, part of my theory, but then I want you to jump in because I want you to share a little bit about what that speech is about, and then whether or not I've lost my mind.
Okay.
All right. So I think one of the issues that we're facing right now is that we as a culture, the way that we have decided to, or the way that, I don't know if it was a decision. I'm going to give us the benefit of the doubt and say we did not actually come out and make this as a decision. It just sort of became the default. We have chosen to engage in our disagreements in a way that is more like Malcolm X than like Martin Luther King Jr. And I've been thinking about this, and it's interesting to me because we celebrate the life of Martin Luther King Jr. every year in our nation, and I think it's because we recognize in it that it's the ideal that what he did and the way he did it is something that we should celebrate. Yet we model our behavior and the way that we interact with each other more in line with Malcolm X, who doesn't have a holiday. So, all right, what was it? Give us a summary of his speech.
Well, it was in large part it was a response to the march that had happened on Washington with Martin Luther King Jr.'s organization, and it's also when he has, if I'm getting my timeline right, which I think I am, he has left why am I blanking on it? It's the American version of the Muslim religion, and a lot of people consider them not actually Muslim, but they're what Louis Farrakhan is the leader.
Yeah, I don't know the name.
That's gonna bug me. I'm gonna look it up. But anyway, he had been a member and had left and was trying to essentially start his own movement, and he's trying to promote Black nationalism. That's his words. And I think I'll just read
the Nation of Islam.
Nation of Islam. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. I kept wanting to say Muslim Brotherhood, and I was like, that's not right. It's nation. So he was nation, and then he had left. Anyway, so I want to read a little passage here. And I had said to you when we were talking about this is one of my, it's something I'm very interested in because I had never listened to this speech or read the speech until I was a full-on adult, like in my 30s. All I knew of Malcolm X was a little bit Black Power, a little bit. I didn't really even know much about the Black Power movement, or like the Panthers or anything like that.
Interesting.
You know? And so I learned a lot about that when I was in my 30s. Anyway,
real quick.
Yeah.
This is an interesting thing to me. Elena, who, was on and she listens.
Yeah.
I was talking to her last night about this, and she said that they had to read that speech in school.
Which one? The Ballot and the Bullet?
Yeah. That was part of like a class that she took.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so just think about like how, because again, she's 10 years, 12, 14 years younger than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like how curriculum changed.
Sure. Well, and she grew up in a different place too. So, different area of the country, and
sure.
But it is true. Like the different curriculum. Also, maybe I was supposed to. I had a weird high school experience, so I miss a lot of things. But it is. But your point still remains. I mean, curriculums can change, and that changes a perspective of a generation for sure. But anyway, I listened to this speech. The first time I heard any parts of it was on the Martyr Made podcast during his Jim Jones series.
We don't promote other podcasts on here.
And so then I was like, I want to go listen to this whole thing. Because, man, it gets me fired up. And this is what I was telling you.
Is it like a pre-workout type of speech?
It'll get you going for a workout for sure. And what I was mentioning to you the last time we were talking about it is that, I would have been his enemy. He's very clear about that, but he was honest about it. And there's something very refreshing about someone saying, no, you're my enemy and I'm coming for you. I know you're coming for me and I'm coming for you. There's something like I'm not saying it's good, but it's clearing, like clears the fog, and that's why I think I really think that the whole being for, and being against thing, I think it's a really good dichotomy to be looking at, but I don't think anybody chooses to be against. I think that's just our nature. I think that's just first position.
That's why when I was talking about like choosing between those two, I do think that seems to be now. But I also think though that doesn't make it right.
Sure.
Right. Because I often think that when we go to our nature, we're going to the base and we're going to the easiest, but we're called to something higher.
Sure. Yeah, it's a natural.
And I don't mean, and I'm not even
it's
talking about as Christians or whatever.
No,
I'm just talking about as humans.
Yeah.
We have evolved to a place where we're called within our own nature to something higher than our base.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right, this is just one clip it's a long speech, like we said. All right, he goes, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or a nationalist, we all have the same problem. They don't hang you because you're a Baptist. They hang you because you're black. They don't attack me because I'm a Muslim. They attack me because I'm black. They attack all of us for the same reason. All of us catch hell from the same enemy. We're all in the same bag, in the same boat. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. All of them from the same enemy. The government has failed us. You can't deny that. Anytime you live in the 20th century, 1964, and you're walking around singing, "We shall overcome," the government has failed. This is part of what's wrong with you. You do too much singing. Today, it's time to stop singing and start swinging. I mean, I listen to that, and it doesn't matter who he's talking about. Man, I am ready to go.
Yeah. And
when you listen to him, he's got so much heart behind it. And that's why I'm just interested in what is that touching in me? What part of me is that touching that it gets me so fired up. And then you listen to the I Have a Dream speech, and it does not get me fired up in the same way. Now, it's like for my experience of both of these, and I've juxtapositioned these, like I've listened to both of them right back to back to feel the experience that I'm getting. I feel like Martin Luther King's is like soaring. It's like, and I've heard this expressed that from other people way smarter than me that say, what Martin Luther King was trying to do was to say the dream of America actually does include all of us. So you white America, you need to live up to your obligation and include us. We deserve to be in this big group. And Malcolm X is saying that is a fool's errand. They are your enemy. We need to defeat them and or carve out our own area, which I think there's an internal logic to that. But, obviously I like MLK's vision better, and I do find it to be inspiring. Whereas Malcolm X's vision is galvanizing, I guess maybe is a different way of looking at it. It's not inspiring in the same way. It doesn't make my heart swell. It makes my muscles twitch. Like, all right. Okay.
Yeah. So, I think you raise at least something that got me thinking, a good point here is ultimately when you're talking about being for something or being against something, you have to ask yourself, what's your end goal? Right. So like, with Martin Luther King Jr., the end goal is full inclusion and participation in the American dream, right? Full access, equality. That is not Malcolm X's vision. That's not his goal. And so one of the things that might be helpful for people today is to take a moment and ask ourselves, what is our goal ultimately with what we're seeing happening today, or when we get frustrated or angry or concerned, afraid of what we're seeing in the news or what we're seeing, what we're hearing from our friends or reading online in our feed, whatever, is our goal to defeat the people that seem to be holding different positions on these issues than us? Like, is our goal to just destroy them and get rid of them? Or do we have a different goal? Because I think that probably for some, okay, I can remember at one point myself, and I think this is important, that you can see that I'm talking from a place where I've kind of come, and maybe not full circle, but I've shifted. Maybe I've done a 180. I'm trying to think if I've been here before. No, I've probably done a 180. Because I don't think I've ever been this concerned about, building common ground for people in the past than I have been over the last few years. Okay, but I can remember being in a meeting. This is embarrassing, but I'm going to share it anyway. I was in a meeting, and we were talking about full inclusion of LGBTQ plus persons within the United Methodist Church, and I didn't realize what meeting I had been invited to, but I had been invited and I went. That was back when I still went to meetings, and even when they weren't required. Now, I only go if I have a reminder that this is required for you to be at. So I went and I got in there, and I realized that they were trying to create a what do you call it? A political
like a platform?
No, like you're trying to get your group together. The word is right. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it. This is good because you couldn't think of the word earlier.
Yeah, like a political party?
Yeah, not even a political party, but you're trying to create a caucus. I think that might be the word I'm looking for. And so we were getting ready. It was this was years ago, and it was before an annual conference.
Okay.
Annual conference, we get together, and this particular year, we were going to have to elect delegates to the general conference. If you're not familiar with United Methodism, we were getting ready to elect delegates that would go to where all of delegates from around the world would come and get to make decisions like that impacted the entire church.
Yeah.
And so this group, what they were trying to do is determine who they felt they could get elected and who they wanted to get elected in order to push the agenda of LGBTQ plus inclusion. And the conversation started getting kind of heated in there. Not that anyone was disagreeing, but that we were getting angry with those people who were like fighting against full inclusion. And I said, I just wish they would all just pack up and leave. All of the people that disagree with us, I wish they would just go away. People that know, like, I think that people that know me now may find that surprising that came out of my mouth. Because I've done a 180 on that. I actually want to create a place where everyone belongs, including the people that I disagree with.
Yeah.
But years ago, and I was ready to, so if you had asked me what is my goal was to destroy them.
Sure.
To get rid of them.
Yeah.
I think that's our natural reaction, like you were saying earlier, because it makes us, I think that what happens is in all of these situations, right? So and I can't put myself in the place of a black man in the 60s, but I can put myself in place of what I see going on around me and try to draw parallels. What I get the sense is that both of them and all of the civil rights leaders, there was a sense of impotence of we haven't, like, this is wrong and we can't do anything about it. So what you do is you begin to develop your response to a sense of impotence.
Sure.
You see this on social media all the time, I think. And our response, the easy response, is to attack,
Mm-hmm.
because it makes us feel like we're actually accomplishing something.
Mm-hmm.
The harder work, though, is to actually identify what's causing me to have this feeling and try to correct it. Now,
Sure.
if I do feel that you're the cause, then I will have to defeat you, right? But maybe we could do a little bit more work and realize maybe it's the behaviors, or maybe it's the I don't know.
Well, it's very interesting. That experience, I think, is a very understandable experience, and I think that it happens over and over and over and over again. Another part of a main thrust of that ballot or the bullet speech.
I am going to go back and listen to it now, though.
Yeah, it's really good. A main thrust of it, a big chunk of it, he talks about how we've got, in his words, white and Jewish business owners that come in and build businesses in our communities, and then we do business with them, stores and whatever, and then that money leaves. So what we need to be doing is only doing business with our own. Right? We create enclaves, and we only do business with our own. That's a big part of his platform there, which, I can sit in my, in my home in Placer County, California, when I first heard this, and go, well, that's ridiculous. We're segregating when we do that. We shouldn't be segregating. We should have everything together, all of that. But you can also see there's some level of like, that's practical for trying. I have a sense of a people group. We all kind of have a people group together, and we want to raise the level of standard of living for my people group. We got to come up with ways to do that.
Right.
Why are we just sending the money out to other communities? And so, as another example, I know a lot of people who have moved to Tennessee from California, and the vast majority of them that I know who have moved from California, they're very conservative and very religiously conservative as well. And so what did they want to do? They wanted to go live in an enclave that
shared
like
all of their
like
values
themselves.
Which is interesting. Real quick side note, the people in Tennessee feel like the influx of the people from California are the reason that this is becoming a more progressive area.
Yeah, and that is so interesting. I could talk about that forever because it is completely missing the mark. But
I think so too. I mean, at least the people from California I know. Well,
there's some.
Yeah. But there are some.
But the vast majority of people are moving from any. It doesn't
matter. Sorry, I did. I
no, it's an interesting.
I pulled us off topic.
I could talk about that a lot. But anyway, so when you're in a group, and you're in this group of people who are like-minded with you, I think that it's like only like that is natural. That's normal. Yeah. You send a bunch of kids of all different races into a lunchroom. It's not atypical to see them kind of start dividing by race. Not always, obviously, and and that does change,
and not exclusively, because
not
you do
exclusively, of course.
And you do start. And I will say this: I think that it's different. Like when I was in school in Florida, in high school in Florida, it was like strict, and it was unspoken. Well, actually, it was spoken. I one time made the mistake of sitting at a table that was considered a black table,
right?
And I almost got my brains beat in.
But it's not an enforced law because it doesn't have to be.
No, but I do think, like, when I look at the schools now, it's getting better. But to your point, I concede your point that we do. My mom, when I went off to college, she was like, "I'm not worried about you because we always find our own."
And what I want to make sure that I say this: the naturalistic fallacy says that because something is natural to happen, that means that it's right or that it should.
Right.
Because something does happen, that means it should happen. And that's a fallacy. That's a logical fallacy. That is not the case. And I mean, I just feel the need to like directly express.
Well, I think there's
this,
a
that,
difference.
Like, I'm here trying
there's
to
a
build
difference
this.
between making an observation and making a moral judgment statement.
Right.
Yeah.
And also I'm not so I think where I fall on the kind of maybe on the other side of the center line is that I'm not so quick to make the moral judgment that it's bad, that it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? That it must be
right,
proportional, whatever. You know what I mean? Like I understand the impulse, and I'm not so sure all the time that Malcolm X should be wrong about that. Like I can see the point that he has in that. And also this whole trying to bring everyone under one roof is how you get crucified.
Oh, I know.
know?
I know this.
And
yeah. So
even though I think that that's what I would prefer.
So
I would prefer
and I will
everyone
say, like,
under one
the
roof.
idea of like buying and trading and like building up the economic capabilities, or however you want to say, of your own.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that churches sometimes have these directories of businesses owned by members of their church.
Right.
They do that.
Absolutely.
Right. And so
every immigrant group has done it. That has moved into, that has come over into the United States. That's the reason you have Little Italy.
Yep.
It's the reason you have Chinatowns. It's the reason you've got all of those.
Yeah. And so I don't have any problem with like any of that. I think it just comes down to the whole message of are we inviting people into what we're trying to accomplish, or have we already identified who needs to be destroyed?
Yeah.
And so maybe
it's a good proxy for what we're trying to discuss here.
I think so. And I also think this, like, maybe the first, okay, so like, let's just stick with the topic of trading and doing business with your own. Right. So yeah, you have Chinatown, you have Little Italy, you have like all of this, all of these where when immigrants came, that's what they did. And then they helped establish their own community. They helped build up their own nationality, even within until you get to the point where you still have some of that, but for the most part, like now that they have become established, then you begin to see the assimilation, right? Because but I mean, within my own family, for example, you didn't marry. My mom's generation was the first generation to marry outside of people from the Netherlands. But then once we were established as people, the people from the Netherlands, once the Dutch people became pretty well established in Cleveland and other areas, we begin to assimilate, and we begin to And so maybe what Malcolm X is pointing out, or was pointing out, the idea of first let's do some community building by this, right? In the event that, or in the hopes that, what I would say then is in the hopes that, and I think this is where he would disagree with me, in the hopes that at one point you build up equality and then can assimilate.
Well, that's the American mythos, that we are a country based on an ideal, not based on a people group. And so then that is always set as the end goal, which is when you come here, you do not have, the goal is for you not to have a people group anymore. I mean, just to say it like that, you don't have a people group. You're just one of the rest of us. And I think that there's merit in that. And also I think that I was listening to our podcast from last week, and when I had said, like, I think sometimes what we call progress is a change. It's a trade-off, and you lose something when you gain something. And I think you definitely gain something when you assimilate. But you lose also, and that can be painful. And I do think that, Malcolm X would go, no, we're not building these communities so that we can assimilate.
Right. No, I agree with
but
that.
I see your point. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, and I think that within the United States is the ideal.
Mm-hmm.
But for that to happen, I think that it requires, I think at some point it would require, because I still see that needs to be sort of the goal. We need to figure out how can we look at some of these communities that are underserved,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how do we help strengthen those communities, build up equality so that then you can have assimilation? And until we allow people and provide people the opportunity for equality, we'll never have assimilation. It'll always be us and them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's always the that's always the push pull there. But as a proxy for what we're trying to do here,
Mhm.
I think where you and I'll just step on a limb here. I think you and I completely agree on this. Is that what we're trying to do here is make this space here
Mhm.
as local as we can get here. You
Mhm.
know, a space that's for everyone
Mhm.
and is not against anyone.
Mhm.
And that's a real tough thing to
Yeah.
do, man.
I think so too. And so like the reason that I put the video together about or I'm putting the video together about for, not against,
Yeah.
and the video that I put out, I think it was last week, it might have been the week before, is because I'm trying to provide tools to do this. Like we can talk about it and we can invite people into it, but at some point we have to start practicing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are ways we can practice it? And one of the things that I'm trying to do for myself, and I'm just sharing it, is when I find that I'm having this visceral reaction to something I'm reading or seeing,
Mm-hmm.
how can I take a moment, pause, and identify that my problem isn't that person, right? But my problem is what's happening, or the result of what they're saying or what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And right. And so like if how can I say that what I'm actually for might be okay, like for example, let's just go back to something we talked about a while ago. When I say that I am for the sanctity of human life,
Mm-hmm.
that I believe that as humans we should recognize humanity in one another, and that we should treat each other with a certain amount of respect and dignity,
Mm-hmm.
simply because we are part of the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're all humans,
Yeah.
and all humans deserve to be treated with a certain amount of respect and dignity.
Even
And
those with extra Neanderthal in them, like myself.
right, yeah,
Little extra 2% Neanderthal.
I wouldn't say that about you, but yes, right. And so that means that I can't turn people into villains and avatars,
Yeah, that's right.
right? And so I have to be able to look at the responses to shootings and not jump in the hero creation or the villain creation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have to say, well, actually what bothers me here is the way humans are treating one another.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see us do better.
Yeah.
So, all right. It's a short episode, but I think that's okay.
Do we solve it all?
Yeah,
We don't
just
need much time to solve it all. We're pretty good.
I think so. I would encourage people. This is me, and then you can tell us where I think you've already stated our common ground. Our common ground is trying to find common ground, but maybe within this particular topic, which topics seem to be common ground. Anyway, I would encourage people that before you make your next post, or or before you make your next statement, or whatever it is, ask yourself: is this statement simply identifying who the enemy is, or is it identifying what I stand for? Is it an attempt to try to um, please the community that I'm a part of, the tribe I'm a part of, and show them how pure I am? or is it an attempt to actually help bring about change? How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because I was talking to somebody last night, and they were like, "No, I love what you're talking about." And they said, "My biggest fear right now," I think this is really telling. They said to me, "My biggest fear right now is like, if I try to love the other
Mm-hmm.
person
Mhm.
that I disagree with, my fear is that I know my tribe is going to turn on me."
Sure. Mhm.
How sad is that?
I think that's just normal. But that's an issue.
Yeah, that's what we have created.
Of course.
And so that's what I want. That's what I want to change. I'm trying to find what I think you commented on it too yesterday. What our friend posted. I think this is really good. So for anyone that's a Christian that listens, I think this is a good question to ask ourselves, or a good thing to hear. The test of loving like Christ is not loving Jesus, it's loving Judas.
Yep. Who do you know is the problem? Who's the problem? Not the downtrodden.
Right.
Who's the problem?
Can I-
That's the person you're supposed to love like yourself. That sucks.
Right. So can I say this?
Yeah.
I'm quoting here Jordan Peterson. When you talk about, can you identify the problem?
Yeah.
He says, if your life isn't perfect, hopefully the problem is you,
Yeah.
because that is the only thing you can change.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
That's so good. All right. You wrap us up. Where's our common ground?
Yeah, I think our common ground really is that what we're both trying to do is in the spirit of the I Have a Dream speech. And at least for myself, I am trying to, the reason I'm so honest about what comes up when I listen to Malcolm X's speech is because I want to look directly into the abyss.
Mhm.
I want to look into myself and know and be honest with what is happening there.
Mhm.
But I think both of us are trying to create something locally that is more in the spirit of the big tent.
Yeah. So here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Real quick. I know I was supposed to give you the last word. I lied. Are you willing to get crucified for that?
That's a topic for another day, man.
Because here's my thought. I've reached a point where I'm willing to get crucified for it. I'm so committed to this.
Your kids are almost both launched.
I'm willing to get crucified for this. But part of me wants to I want to build this community for two reasons. One is the number 9 in me.
Sure.
And with the strong one wing.
Yeah.
Enneagram nod there.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to change the world.
Yeah.
And I do want to create peace in this world. And I think that this is the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first reason I want to do this. The second reason I want to do this is because misery loves company. And I'm willing to be crucified, but I would like to know that when the time comes, I'm not hanging alone. So, all right.
On that.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Living on Common Ground. Please follow wherever you listen to your podcasts and share it with your friends. You can also find a link to our social in the description. The more people we have living on common ground, the better the world will be.